Hey everybody, can you hear me? Can everybody hear me okay? I hope everyone is having a great evening. What's going on? What is going on, you guys? Halinim, RTYTS님, Sonanim. Yes, English interview. Well, that's just a premise that I've chosen. It's just a scenario that we'll be using today. Hold on a second. That is simply a scenario that we will be using for our dialogue today. But these past several streams, I remember a number of viewers asking about, well, not maybe asking, but telling me that they had an English interview. And I thought that was kind of interesting, and I guess it's the kind of thing that we will see a lot more of moving forward, because a lot of people will be either preferring to or trying to work abroad, work overseas, or work with or collaborate, do teamwork, do business with other foreign partners. And so I don't know, maybe this could be a thing. Anyway, so I thought it was a good excuse for me to go over a set of very specific expressions that a lot of Korean people have a hard time with when they are trying to as they are learning English. And so that's just a premise that we're using. It's just a scenario that we're using today. So how is everyone doing? Oh, the lights? Oh yeah, I did that for you guys. I did that for you guys. Yeah, way back then I had one which was a real disaster. Nice timing. LA is my cleaning friend today. Cleaning friend. Are you gonna do some cleaning right now? Because I've been doing so much cleaning lately. Like in my office, this place, I'm still not done. I'm still not 100% done with all the cleaning and organizing. Oh man, it's just endless, especially when you're not a very organized person, Like me, if you're not a very organized person, it just takes forever to clean things up and organize stuff. YG, not much. Okay, sup. How's it going? How are you? I'm doing all right. How are you doing? I'm just on my way home. Okay. Jezanim, did I read that right? Jezanim, it's good to have you here. Have a safe trip back home. 고구마님, 원호님, onion, 정시호님, 영님, Prince Lars. Okay. 문효원님. All right. I'm doing all right. Thanks for asking. How you doing? Did you eat anything yesterday? Yes, I did. I actually came back home because I streamed in my office yesterday. I came back home and, kind of wondering what my wife would say if I, suggested that we should maybe get something to eat, maybe order something. And she actually made me something. And I insisted that we just get something delivered, because who wants to go through that hassle at that late of a time, right? Because it was like almost midnight when I got back home. And she made me this late night meal, which was awesome. It was some brown rice and 2 fried eggs and an avocado on it with some soy sauce. That and a bowl of a salad. Oh my God, it was so good. It was so good. Oh yeah, she's one of a kind. That's right. Yeah, we're both my wife and I are really into healthy eating these days, and I hope you guys, if you aren't already, if you guys aren't already into healthy eating, I strongly recommend it. It just feels so good. You have an interview this afternoon? What time is it over there? Was it kind of poke? I guess you could say that. I don't really know what a poke is. I thought I used to think that I knew what it was, but I don't think I know what it is anymore. Because I thought when it came to poke, you had to have some kind of raw fish inside. But as it turns out, it doesn't. I don't really know what it is. Fried eggs and avocado with soy sauce always go well with each other as far as I'm concerned. I see. Okay. So it's known to be like no failure, right? You can never go wrong with that combination. Is that what you're saying? I currently living in Germany, and now it's 5 past. That's I'm guessing that's noon. It's about noon there in Germany. Okay, cool. We are what we eat. Well, if that's true, I'm probably like the healthiest person here. I want my dad to be like you. What? What do you mean? For making my wife cook at midnight? 영어만 더 궁금해진 건데. 오케이. I'm이라고 쓰는 게 영어 하는 것처럼, 영어 잘하는 것처럼 보이냐고요? 그 I마저도 소문자로 하면은 그래요. 그 I마저도 소문자로 하고 and you just completely ignore all punctuations. Yeah, it makes you look like you're using English on a native level. That's right. Just forget all punctuation, no capitalizations, just all lower cases, no punctuation. Yeah, that's right. See? Whoops. I capitalized the E, but I'm not gonna do that. See? Look at that. See, that looks so much better. Watch this. See, look. Look at the difference. Look at the difference between this and this. This, it looks so much more confident, right? Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, who cares about all the punctuations and capitalizations, right? Yeah, forget all punctuations. That's right. It had been이랑 it has been 차이가 궁금하다고요? 어느 시점을 기준으로 얘기를 하는 건지가 달라져요. It has been은 현재를 기점으로 얘기를 하는 거고, it had been은 과거의 어느 시점을 기점으로 그 당시에 뭐가 어땠었던 상황이었다라고 하는 거고, 그 당시라는 게 뭐 어제일 수도 있어요. 조금이라도 그 과거면 그렇게 적용이 되고요. 현재를 기점으로 하는 얘기라면은 wait, I think is my volume a little too loud? I think my volume's a little too loud. Is that better? No, wait. Is that better? Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Okay, I think that's give me a second here. Shoot. Okay, I think that's better. You see, do you understand what I'm trying to say, Kanchan-님? I hope that makes sense. I feel it is not easy to eat fresh meal in the single person household. Yeah, absolutely, because if you want to eat healthy, and it doesn't even have to be fresh. Well, I guess fresh and healthy eating always go hand in hand. You can't really talk about healthy eating without having really good and fresh ingredients. But you know, speaking in a more general sense, I think that healthy eating is really difficult for single people, especially if there's no one else living with you. It's not single doesn't necessarily mean that you're not married or you're not going out with anybody, but if you're living alone, right, in a single household, like you said, yeah, it's hard because it's really hard to maintain all those fresh ingredients. Although it has become a lot easier, mainly due to all those late night delivery services, right? Delivery services that send you fresh ingredients at your door, like at 6 and 7 in the morning. They have those delivery services, right? So it has become more convenient, but still it's hard. It can't be easy, especially if you're trying to maintain a full-time job. Oh yeah, okay. If you have any questions, there are people here who can answer your question for you. They're just showing up. And I don't want you to think about how good you are or how bad you are or how good someone else is. Just show up. Just show up and just use English. And don't be so analytical. Don't try to be always sizing people up and comparing yourself with others. All that's is kind of meaningless. All that is meaningless. Do you like snack? Sure. Who doesn't like to snack? Like, is there anybody who doesn't like to snack? Everybody likes to snack, right? It's a matter of what you enjoy snacking. Even me, a homemaker, don't make my own healthy meal when I eat alone. Right, yeah, it's not motivating enough, right? You don't have as much of a motivation as you would if you were living with someone, or if you were, basically if you were preparing the meal to enjoy it with somebody. So, sure. 젊은 시절 영상 보다가 왔더니 타임머신이 Yeah. Hey, nobody, even Keanu Reeves gets old, guys. 매일 외국인 친구와 스몰톡 하는데 영어에 도움이 되는지 잘 모르겠어요. Of course. I mean, you're not gonna feel a difference every single time you do a small talk with someone. All that experience, and not only that, but a number of other things, including this one. So engaging in small talk with foreigners, going online and reading what people have posted on community websites, looking at people on social media, looking at the content, reading the replies, watching movies and TV shows on Netflix, all that. It's a combination of different types of experience that will eventually help you move forward in terms of your journey in learning English. So it's not just one or two things. It's a number of different things, and you can never really tell which one is helping you in which way. It's all so intertwined, and it's as I always say, it's a matter of amount over time, like how much of the language you're using over time, over an extended period of time. And so the key is to make yourself keep going without stopping, right? And so the only way to really do that is to kind of disguise the process as something that's not really studying. You know what I mean? So yes, you are in a way you're studying, because you're intentionally making yourself doing certain things, right, in order to learn English. But I think the smart thing to do is to kind of disguise that process and make yourself kind of blind to the fact that you're actually studying. You know what I mean? And that's why I always stress the importance of using the language just to do certain things throughout your daily life, instead of setting aside extra time to do these other things that really feel like studying. I mean, some people actually enjoy that part, but most of you don't. So, hello, how was your day? My day was okay. Who just ate choco pie? Choco pie? Did you intend to create the lens flare effect? The flare is really strong. Yeah, I did that for you, Butterneem. I did that for you. I put in so much time and money and effort into making the lights flare the way they are now. I did that especially for you guys. And I know you're thinking that we never asked for it. I don't want that. You don't know that you want it. You want it, but you just don't realize it. That's how I see it. Sometimes we don't really know what we want. And I think that's the case here. I'm sure that if I took the time and took the flares away, you would think, wait a minute, I think I want the flares back. That's what's going to happen. So why go through the trouble, right? 아이 영어 공부시키다가 너무 힘들어서 하면서 수업 들어왔어요. 아이 공부시키는 거 너무 힘들어요. Yeah, kids don't want to study. Right. Oh, you moved the subtitles to the top. That looks more organized. Good job. Oh, really? Yeah, because I noticed that the chat highlight that I'm bringing up on the screen like this, I realized that it was covering my head, making me look bald. And I don't want to look bald. So I decided to switch the location. And I think it's actually better. Even if it wasn't for that issue, I think it actually looks better now. 유튜브 영상만 있나요? 아니면 따로 구매하는 곳이 있나요? I have a course for beginners over at MKYU, and I also have one very short paid course on YouTube, but that's about it. And also there's the book. You can also get the book. There are 5. If you want to buy the book, there are 5 books you need to get. But it's very convenient, because all you have to do is go online, find my book, and you'll see a plus, and you just add 5 books into your cart, and you check out. Yeah, that's what you do. And then you'll receive 5 books, and you put 1 book each in different locations, maybe one in your living room, one in your bedroom, one in your bathroom, one in your office, one in your backpack, so that you never have to really move the book from where they are. See what I mean? Smart. Seems like you made very good use of your room. Oh, thank you. I do what I can. I do the best I can. Hi Sam, it's been a while. Haley, yeah, it's been a while. Welcome back. I didn't participate much in the stream. What's the orange subscribe? The captions, I think it looks like dictation. So interesting. Well, it's captions. It's basically using Google's speech recognition, speech-to-text technology. It's pretty standard. I mean, I actually think there are other companies that do a better job, but the one you're seeing now is actually using Google's engine, text-to-speech engine. Speech-to-text engine. And so that's what you're seeing now. It's not really that complicated to get this working. I thought it would be, but it wasn't. So, have you ever gotten any endoscopes? No. I really should, but I am too afraid. Yeah. 영부에서 모르는 부분이나 궁금한 게 있을 때 그냥 지나갔는데 라이브 질문하니까 뭔가 뻥 뚫리는. Oh, that's great. That's I'm happy to be at your service. After live yesterday, what did you get? Tongue or something else? Actually, I was just talking about it earlier, but my wife actually made me a super healthy late night meal. It was insane. I should have taken a picture. I don't know why I didn't. Did I take a picture? No, I almost never take pictures of what I eat. But yeah, my wife made me this super healthy, like superfood, and it was awesome. It tasted better than anything I could have had. Like, I think it was one of the best meals I've had. Like in recent memory, I can't think of anything that tasted better than that. Feels like it's getting colder in real time, so you all should put on warm tomorrow. Really, it's gonna get. Oh, that's right. It's gonna get pretty warm this weekend, from what I hear. Oh shoot! Wait, let me change. Why is this? Does anybody know how to fix this on Windows? Every time I reboot the system and I, like normal, the time is always set to a different time zone. I don't know why. And I come in here, I change it, and it does the same thing. And the funny thing is, it's already set to, the time zone is already set to Seoul, and I have the set time automatically toggled. It's on. It's enabled. And for some reason, every time I reboot the system, it I don't know, like, what time zone is that? Like, it's, right now the clock is showing 11:20 a.m. What the hell? And so what I have to do is toggle the set time automatically off, and then on again, and then it picks up on, so it's 8:20 now, right? It's 20 after 8, okay. I don't know why I have to keep doing this. 굳이 말하자면, I think it depends on what it is you're gonna say, but you could, I guess you could say like technically, or sometimes you could say to be honest, or you know, I mean there are a number of ways you can say it. I think there are actually quite a few expressions you could use, and which one is better depends on the context. Get up to something, doing something that others disapprove of. 뜻이 있었는지 몰랐어요. What have you been getting up to? Doing something that others disapprove of. Get up to something. Disapprove of. Get up. I didn't know that either. Even as I'm seeing it right now, I'm thinking like, really? Does it really mean that? Not really sure. What should I say? 내릴 곳을 놓치다 in English. I couldn't get off. No, you say I missed my stop. Yeah, missed my stop. 정크리스님. Okay, there we go. Right. You missed your stop. Please let me know how to approach, emphasize the passionate, the role, job, position. I'm having trouble understanding what this means. Please let me know how to approach, emphasize the passionate, the role, job, position. How to approach, emphasize, passionate. So you want to, in a job interview, you want to be able to express your passion about the job position. Is that what you mean? Share it on Discord if you have a photo of that superfood. I don't think I have a photo of it. I just don't have a habit of taking pictures of what I eat, and I don't think I took I maybe I should check. I probably don't. No. Nope. What a shame. Oh wait, is this it? Oh no, that's something else. Oh, what a shame. Sorry guys, I don't have it. I'm going on a half marathon. You're doing a half marathon on 13th of April. Okay, that's about a week from now, is it? But I'm going through left knee ache. I honestly want to give up, but my daughter wants to see my running that day. Yikes. Okay, it's kind of what I can't never give up. Ooh, it doesn't sound like a good idea. I mean, from what you're saying, if you're experiencing some sort of pain in your knee, running a marathon really doesn't sound like a good idea. I mean, David Goggins would tell you, yeah, it doesn't matter. You could have a hair fracture in your bone and you should still run. But I'm not David Goggins, and I don't know if that's such a good job. I don't know if that's such a good idea. Hope I can meet a wife who'll happily make me a nice little meal in the future. Your story is really rubbing off on me. Well, making food is not like the wife's job, I guess. They do it when they want to, I guess. Always thank you for teaching English. Well, I don't feel so much like I'm teaching anymore. I feel like I'm just showing up and using English and just showing it to you in a way that I think is effective. And I that's pretty much what I expect you guys to do. Show up, use English as much as you can, and don't sweat the small stuff. Don't get so caught up in the little details. Just trust the process. Trust the process. Remember, amount over time. Well, if you're introducing yourself, I don't think you'll have to. They usually don't, as far as I understand, they don't really have that very typical, part where you sit there and you introduce yourself, because they pretty much have all of that stuff right in front of them on their resume. So You just talk about what you can do, what you'll bring to the job, what you can't, and things like that. It's just some brown rice, 2 fried eggs, 1 avocado. Maybe it was half an avocado. I don't know. It could have been 1 avocado. There was quite a bit on there. And so that and a bowl of salad. Have you also had an English job interview? I think you did well. Have I ever had an interview in English? I don't think so. Disable automatic time zone settings and manually select a time zone. Oh! Okay, so disable automatic time and set the date time manually. Okay. It's correct now, so I just... Okay. Alright, so I actually... Okay, so, hey, that's actually smart. So I disabled the set time automatically while it was set to the right time and date. And so it should be going right now, right? So from now on, I don't have to set it every time I log in then, right? Okay. Well, we'll see how it is next time. You have only 2 needs. That's right. What have you been getting up to? 뭐하고 지냈어? Joel, get up to something? 영양사를 보니까 그런 뜻이야. I'm low-key confused actually. What have you been getting up to? I've never heard that before. I've heard of what have you been up to? What have you been up to? That's a very common way people say hello. 뭐하고 지냈어? What have you been up to? What have you been getting up to? What have you been getting up to? It sounds more like you're thinking of something specific. What have you been getting up to? That sounds really awkward. To me, it just sounds awkward. It doesn't... yeah, it sounds a bit awkward to me. What have you been getting up to lately? Yeah. One of my favorite things about this channel is that I can see the editing skills and interior have been improved. It's so you like it? I'm actually thinking of adding something over here on the right side, your right, to my left, in the corner over there, because it seems, I don't know, I guess it's all right, but it seems a bit empty there. So I think I'm gonna add something, because as I was cleaning out my office, let me show you guys something actually. I found this thing. It's as you can see, it's a laptop, but it has a very unique form factor because it's almost a square rather than a 16 by 9 form. It's almost a square. It's a really old laptop. It's called the ThinkPad X60. And I'm not exactly sure when this was. I think it's back from like 2007. Oh, the plastic pieces are falling off. Jesus. Okay. So and it's actually working. The battery is dead, but I found the charger with it, and it actually works. And so I spent a couple of hours formatting the hard drive on this thing, and I installed a very, very light version of Linux on it. And it's working, and you can actually connect the Wi-Fi as well, and so it's pretty crazy. So I think I'm gonna use this in the corner over there. We'll see how it turns out. I heard one of your dogs wasn't feeling well last time. How's she doing? She had a pretty big surgery. She's okay now. She's recovered so quickly, and I'm just so thankful and really actually quite amazed and blown away by how fast she was able to recover from that. It wasn't an injury, but from that surgery. But yeah, I guess that's why they're animals. 공부 계정을 새로 만드는 중에 그 계정으로 가입해서 영어만 보려고요. 디스코드. That's actually kind of smart. Because when you use your main account to do everything, and if one of those things is actually studying, it can kind of distract things, right? Because you have all these other videos and content that are being pushed towards you, being recommended, and so things could get kind of distracting. But if you had an account that you would use only to do one certain thing, and it would only recommend content related to that, that would actually work. Interesting. 초6이 중2 영어 공부하는 게 정상인가요? Like just that sentence right there. The answer is no. Of course it's not. 친구들이 제 문제집 보고 머리 아프다 그래요. Yeah, okay. So you, a 6th grade student, why are you studying something that sophomores in middle school study? Why is that? Is it just so damn easy? Is it just so damn easy? Although from what I hear, this is quite common nowadays, like parents trying to get their children to learn something way above their grade. I hear it's pretty common nowadays. Oh, it's easy for you? Okay. All right. Well, if I were to give you any sort of advice, I mean, I wouldn't really call this advice, but just something that you might consider doing is if you find things pretty easy, why don't you just go online and just talk to native English speaking people. Communicate with them online. That could actually be better. Unless you're just worried about your grades. I see. Yeah, it's actually pretty heavy for its size. But this thing I think it's really strong because when I think this is a laptop that my wife used to use before we even got married. This is a laptop that she was probably using before we got married, and we got married in 2011. And she had been using this. 이럴 때 과거 완료 쓰는 거예요. And 왜냐면 지금 기준이 우리가 결혼했을 때, 우리가 만났을 때를 기준으로 얘기하는 거니까, right? So, we met. So I think I met my wife in 2010, and then we got married in 2012, I think. Wait, why did I say we met? I think we met in 2011 and we got married in 2012. And when we met, she had been using this for a few years. Which means this is almost a 20-year-old laptop. Almost. Wait, what the hell? What's wrong with my math? Let's say 15-year. It's about a 15-year-old laptop. 말할 때 부사를 많이 쓰려고 노력하는데 맨날 쓰는 것만 쓰는 것 같아요. Definitely, absolutely, obviously만 쓰는 것 같아요. That's fine. It's okay. Yeah. Let's talk in English, not Korean. Yeah, good point. Good point. So, no more Korean, guys. No more Korean. Sam, I left a comment under your record of live yesterday, but your record of live? But somehow it was deleted. That's okay. I just wanted to send you gratitude for having given me courage to keep studying. Okay, so you left a comment on the video and it got deleted? That's odd. When I face English interview every time in Korea, what I mean is Seoul offices. They ask how long have you lived abroad, and right after I lose my confidence, which made my interview screwed up. Okay. So, did they make it sound like they were expecting you to say that you spent like a long time abroad? Is that why you lost? Why did you lose your confidence? 영어식 발성법 복습 호흡 따로 연습을 해야 하나요? No. No. If anybody tells you that, they're trying to con you. That's a freaking scam. Oh my. No, just take a step back. Take a step back and actually think. How is something like that? How can anybody... So whoever tells you that that is necessary, that means they don't have anything else to offer you. It just means they have nothing else to offer you. That's the only thing they know about. So Step one. You have to be okay with your terrible English and your terrible pronunciation. You have to let that go. Okay? And there is nothing that you can do. That will just instantly change things. No. And your goal should never be to be as good as a native speaker. I mean, it's good to have that as... It's good to kind of keep that in mind, that you want to someday improve and become as good as a native speaker, but that's kind of not a very realistic goal. You know what I mean? So, okay, but Korean is super easy, so 저는 한국어만 쓸 거예요. You know, I hate it when people mix English and Korean. Just kidding. You guys should actually do that. I came here in Vietnam to learn variety of things like culture, people, etc. And my goal here is making friends and talking English. I hope it will work out. That's great. That's, good for you that you can actually do that. So, but you have to. So, do you work there? What kind of work do you do there? Instantly. Compared to last year, my English speaking has improved a lot. That's great. That is great. See, now other people can read your comment and learn from it. Like, oh, so that's how you write oh, and that's how... See, the point, you writing in English, the reason I ask people to use the chat in English is not only for themselves. Of course, that's the biggest part of it, but another part of it is for the community. Is for the English learning community. Every time you write an English sentence, it's a learning opportunity for someone else. Okay? And this is true. Probably the biggest thing that's holding you back, the thing that's holding you back the most, and when I say you, I mean everybody, all English learners. And I'm absolutely positive that a lot of people would agree with me right now, but the thing that is probably holding you back the most is fear. fear of being judged, fear of being laughed at because of your poor English. And you know what? It's true. There are people out there who's going to give you a hard time about your bad English. They're going to call you names. They're going to say bad things about you. They're going to call you stupid. They're going to call you go back to Korea. And the thing is, you have to overcome that. You just have to be indifferent to that. You just have to ignore that and not let it bother you. That is so important. The world has become a very hateful place. I know it's a very depressing thought, but it's true. The world has become a very hateful place. People are always lashing out at each other. People are always looking for something to complain about. They're always looking for something else to blame. And when you show up with your imperfect English, some people who are broken inside will actually take advantage of that situation and try to make fun of you and make you feel inferior. It's true. But it's just like it's exactly like learning to drive, as I always say. You go out on the road. I think I would like to say that more than half of the people out there are nice. You make a wrong move, you hesitate on the road, you drive a little slow, people will understand, oh, this person might be learning. Maybe they just started driving. But there are some people out there who will just give you a really hard time with that. They'll call you names, they'll roll down their window, they'll say bad things to you. But what do? You just ignore it, right? If you let that hold you back, you're not gonna learn to drive, right? Same thing. I heard that most of people have various voices depending on languages, but I don't have. How about you, Sam? I don't know, and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. That's not what people should be. Okay, so maybe you're just asking because you're curious, but I just want to make sure that people understand that pronunciation, vocalization, all this is secondary. People usually don't really, they don't really care about that. What matters is what you say. That's what matters. And how you say it, and the kind of attitude that you exhibit. So that's the important thing. I use English every day at work, but it doesn't matter how someone's pronunciation is good or not. Every immigrator has different. Yeah. So everybody has, even in Korean, even when you look at just one language, people speak using, and people don't all speak at the same level. People speak their own mother tongue at different levels, right? But it doesn't matter, right? We don't say, oh, this person is not as native as I am. No. We can never, people don't say that. So, same thing. And English is a language that is used like worldwide. So imagine how dynamic it is in terms of like style, dialect, pronunciation, vocalization. It's so diverse. And so it doesn't really matter. That is, well, I think it's good to have kind of a something that you're working towards. So maybe you personally feel more attracted to like British English, or I don't know, just standard North American English, or some other type of English. And working towards that is fine. I think that's fine. That's great. But you don't really have to try to pick one and try to sound the same. It's all right. Sam, have you seen that video of a big black guy giving tips on how to survive Squid Game? So hilarious. No, I don't think I've seen it. Nope. I don't know if I would. I mean, I guess I would find the video hilarious nonetheless, but I didn't actually see Squid Game, and so I probably wouldn't be enjoying it as much as you did. I came here after I just finished my career as an officer of Marine Corps for 7 years. Wow, cool, okay. So I need a break for a while, and I just want to try what I want to do. Oh, okay, I see. Interesting. Oh, Pakchinanim, you mean going to Vietnam? Okay. That's wow. That's what are you? You've given yourself an adventure. That sounds great. And even wrong grammar is present every day. No one matter. Yeah, no one. It doesn't really matter. It's okay. Anyway, thank you. I'm learning English from you. Really, thank you. Oh, that's hey, I appreciate. It's my pleasure, and I really appreciate you showing up here and telling me these things. Good luck, man. Give us an update every now and then, and tell us how you're doing there. But if you keep making mistakes, you surely get used to it, and it doesn't mean much to you. I mean, in a positive way. Yeah, well, you know. But I always say that it's important to keep in mind, that you're trying to improve. Always be trying to be improving. And then not worry too much about whether or not or how much you've improved. IBM logo disappeared from laptop 2008-ish production. Your laptop is, wow. Yes, that's crazy. Yeah, so it says IBM right here. And I think I was looking at some of the stickers here, and I think I read 2007 somewhere. Maybe it was on the adapter. It's still using the original adapter that came with it. And I think I read somewhere 2007. So I'm guessing it's a product that was either manufactured or purchased around that time. So that's pretty crazy how old this thing is. And right now, and that's just giving me so much motivation to actually get this working, like use it for something. And you know what? I think I actually thought about this today. I actually already started working on my next book, but I think I'm gonna make this laptop. I think I'm gonna try to write my next book almost entirely on this laptop. You know, just as an interesting thing. You know, not that it's gonna make things more effective or efficient. It's probably just gonna make things harder. But it's just kind of fun, you know. Yeah, I'm a nerd. I admit I'm a nerd. Come on, say these things in English. I know you can. And it's okay if your sentence is shit. I don't care. The important thing is that and you know what's really important? The reason that I encourage everyone to just use their wrong English is there's something really, really important. And I talk about this a lot probably, but one of the most important things that Korean people have to learn is learn to be okay with your bad English. Don't, stop worrying about being judged by other people. That's a really important part of learning another language. If you constantly have this fear, okay, about using English, about using your English in front of other people, whether it's written English or spoken English, if you have this constant fear of that's gonna really, really hold you back. You know this, right? You know this, and this also goes back to what I always emphasize almost every single day, is you learn English by using it. There's no such thing as so the idea that you can improve your English by studying it, that is a complete lie. It's a lie that people tell themselves. You don't learn English by studying it. You learn by using it, of course, because that's how we learn anything in life, by doing it. Anyway. Especially whenever I see a Korean who is really good at English, I hesitate to speak English. Well, it's just your loss then. It's just your loss. Today, I consulted with 8 teachers from each Department of Children's Studies. It was a tough time. You consulted with 8 teachers from each Department of Children's Studies. Okay. Each department, you mean each subject? You had like one of those parent-teacher meeting things? English is not for few countries true, language for worldwide. One of my friends came from Canada, who's also Korean, mimicked my poor English once, and I felt very embarrassed at that time. Well, yeah. And, it's going to happen again. Worse things can happen. the key is to not be, just not be affected by it. Don't allow yourself to be bothered by it. I haven't been abroad since I came to Earth. Please recommend the best country or city where you visited and enjoyed. You're making yourself sound like an alien. Oh, you mean since you were born, I guess. I guess that's what you mean. 쿠팡 플레이 HBO 시리즈가 한 트럭 들어왔더라고요. Oh, okay. 봐야지 모르겠는데 추천할 수 있나요? If you ask that in English, maybe people will be more willing to give you a recommendation. 선생님, 저 저녁에 피자 먹었어요. Oh, man. Damn you. Pizza. I love pizza. I had a surgery on Monday. Oh, you did? What kind of surgery? I still have a little pain, but it's much better than before the surgery. After the surgery, I stayed in the hospital, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Oh, thank you for that little update. I'm sorry you had to have surgery. I hope it wasn't anything serious, but it's so nice to hear that you're getting better. I hope you feel... I mean, it's going to be a while until you feel like 100%, right? So, I hope it wasn't anything serious. And I hope you all get better very soon. But even if I'm not failing to send my message with some broken English, I'm afraid that if I would stuck to a certain way which is wrong or awkward. Like I said, that never happens in other areas of life. Okay? Imagine you apply that same logic to driving. So if you drive, if you're not very good at parking, and every time you park, you're always a little slanted, you're a little off. So, do you go somewhere else and study how to park? Because if you keep parking like that, you're always gonna no, you're gonna improve. So, that's how we learn anything. There's always a process. We always go from bad, better to good. That's how we learn. That's how we learn everything. Why are you applying these out of world logics to English? That's not how things work. You know what I mean? Game of Thrones. 외국 항공사 면접을 준비 중인데 특히 weakness 부분을 어떻게 말해야 할지 계속 고민 중이었어요. Wow, really? Okay, well, you came to the right place. Props to the discharged Marine soldier. You've done some work, brother. Well, it's. I guess every work is important. Every work, every kind of job is just as important as the other one. But there's something about the military, right? That gives it that gives it a kind of a special feeling, right? I feel the same way. By the way, I like how the live stream screen works. We can see all you are saying, huh? Right? It's been yeah. It's something that we've implemented into our stream quite recently, and it seems to be going okay. So-called retro, otherwise just old. It's just old. It's like, oh, and I found something else too. Check this out. Do you guys know what this is? You guys know what this is? Guys, what is this? What is this, guys? It's an iPad. It's an iPad 3. iPad 3rd generation. And it works. I got it. It actually turned on. It's crazy. An iPad 3rd generation. I found it in one of my boxes in my office. I had no idea I still had this. And And you know what it's really interesting because iPhone 3, I still have the original. Yeah, I have the iPhone 3GS as well. But the crazy thing about this is I can't even install YouTube. So the only way I can watch YouTube on this thing is to use the Safari browser and go and log into, and it's so slow. Everything loads up and everything's so choppy. I can't even install Netflix. Netflix, it just doesn't install. It says that it's not compatible with this version of the iPad. It's crazy. So right now, like, this is like if you think, this is more like a stone tablet now. It's not really a smart tablet. It's a stone tablet. Like, what am I going to do with this, right? I could probably use it as like a digital picture frame. Hitting an iPod. Oh, okay. Like the nice thick chunky ones, like metallic, the heavy ones. I have one of those in my room now too. The only app that works in it is Safari, so I use it for bathroom when I take a shower. Oh, hey, that's actually a good idea. A little entertainment device in your bathroom. I wonder if I could somehow get it to mount on the wall. You're using an iPhone 6S? Wow, that's a really old phone. When did it come out first? I have no idea. No. Can be used to put a pan or pot on it. Yep, it sure can. Should I make some script for an interview before I go? Yes, I think you should. Because think about it. If you were really serious about, if you're really trying to nail an interview, even in Korean, wouldn't you do the same thing? Wouldn't you make a list of the things that you would want to say, the kind of questions that you're expecting? You would probably write it out and kind of prepare for it, right? I mean, I think people would do that about a Korean interview as well. So, yeah. No, I truly believe you came from the past by time. I'm going to Gwangyang Maul with my family this weekend. Okay, Gwangyang Maul. I'm guessing they have a lot of mehwa trees there. I don't even know what a mehwa tree looks like, but I guess it's, must be nice. It's not. It does seem like, I mean, yeah, I was at the park earlier today, and things were a lot greener. Like, I was at the same park the day before yesterday, and I was there today, and it just looked really different. Everything was so much greener. So I'm guessing that we're getting very close to that flower season. Maybe you can use your iPad 3 as an iPod. Maybe I could. 2010 maybe? Maybe. I made it work the way you just imagined, Daiso. There are holders with the strong stickers at the back. I see. But I'm kind of concerned about having it mounted on the wall with something that's like maybe just maybe like one of those suction devices, or like a sticker, because like the bathrooms tend to get pretty humid, right? And so I'm kind of worried that it'll fall. It's 6 a.m. in the morning in Canada, but I haven't slept at all. Oh my god. Uh-oh. You were up all night? What were you doing? Were you binging through Netflix or something? 예상 질문 준비하는 거 맞고 그 다음에 연계해서 계속 물어보기 때문에 당황하지 않고 침착하게 말하는 게 중요합니다. Yeah. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Okay. It's been only 15 years since smartphone came out? Yeah, not that long. Not that long. I remember, when did I get the iPhone 3GS? Oh, wait, the iPhone 3GS actually uses the same charger as this iPad. Maybe I should try to charge that iPhone. I think I could get it to turn on. It's still Thursday. Oh shoot. It's better than Wednesday. The stickers have been working like champions for more than a couple of years in my bathroom. Wow, those are some really, really sturdy stickers. Really sturdy stickers. All right. Okay, everything looks okay. My cursor, okay. We'll get right into it. Oh, sorry. From your resume, looks like you've worked in high pressure environments before. How do you usually handle those situations? Okay, we'll start with yeah, we'll just wait, why isn't the scroll working? Oh, that's weird. Okay, so the interviewer, A is the interviewer, and the interviewer asks, the interviewer starts off with a question right away. The interviewer asks, from your resume, it looks like you've worked in high pressure environments before. How do you usually handle those situations? Does everybody know what this means? Yeah, everybody understands? No problem? iPhone released in December 2009 in Korea. No KakaoTalk support more than a year. Haha. 2009? Okay. So, from your resume, it looks like you've worked in high-pressure environments before. How do you usually handle those situations? 압박이 심한데도 일을 했던디 보통 그런 거 어떻게 극복하냐? Right. Sounds about right. Okay. Okay, so how would you construct this sentence? How would you construct this sentence? How would you construct this sentence? All right. Okay, so now this is strictly coming from me. I'm just telling you what I feel and what I would personally do. Okay? So, do you see what light greenium is doing? Light greenium is saying I believe. RM님 says I believe. A lot of you guys are saying I think. If it were me, I would not say I think because it sounds like you're guessing. It sounds like you're guessing when you say I think. Say, I think it's it's like you're saying I think. Well, no. So so I consider, I believe, or if you want to sound a bit more modest, you could always say something like, I like to believe, or I would say. You could. There are a number of things you could say. You say, I would say. Let's go with I would say, right? I would say that one of my strengths is, and then the way. Okay, so we've started the sentence. We started with this construction, and we're gonna talk about an ability. Okay, we're gonna talk about an ability. So 무엇을 할 수 있다는 것. So how do you connect? So I would say that one of my strengths is 뭐뭐를 할 수 있는 거. Right. Okay. Being able to. Okay? Is being able to. Is being able to. Okay, now here, because throughout today's dialogue, I have a handful of expressions that are actually very, very similar. Okay, I have a handful of expressions that are actually very, very similar, and it's not like we haven't covered this before. It's something that we've covered in the past, but I thought it was just a good excuse to connect those expressions and review them with this sort of scenario, with this context, okay? So I would say that one of my strengths is being able to where was I? My team when things get overwhelming. Now remember, the question was about high pressure situations, right? So from your resume, it looks like you've worked in high pressure environments before. How do you usually handle those situations? And this person is saying, well, I would say that one of my strengths is being able to my team when things get overwhelming. So what am I looking for here? What am I looking for? Put up with my team. Calm down, ease. Okay. Today we're going to go with 의지하다. Today we're going to go with 의지하다. Right. Okay. So in this case, probably the best, I mean, you could probably say any one of count on, depend on, rely on. You can, and there's another one. You can probably use any one of them, and it wouldn't sound bad, okay? But probably the best one here is count on. Count on. So I would say that one of my strengths is being able to count on my team when things get overwhelming. From your resume, it looks like you've worked in high-pressure environments before. How do you usually handle those situations? Well, I would say that one of my strengths is being able to. One of my strengths is being able to. I would say that one of my strengths is being able to count on my team. So guys, let me ask you something. Can this be considered as a skill? Can this actually be considered as a skill? Okay. And so the interviewer asks, you mean your team can count on you, right? overwhelming. Overwhelming. The sensation of something being overwhelming itself it can usually never be something positive, because when something is overwhelming, it means that you can't really take it comfortably. Okay? So alright, so let's go over this again. So the interviewer, A is the interviewer. From your resume, it looks like you've worked in high-pressure environments before. How do you usually handle those situations? And an interviewee says, well, I would say that one of my strengths is being able to count on my team when things get overwhelming. And the interviewer hears this, and he or she asks, you mean your team can count on you, right? And then the interviewee says, well, that too. But and this is what we're going to say. Oh, sorry. Teams. Okay, so, well, that too, but I think it's always better to work as a team. I've seen plenty of cases where teams fail because of the lack of teamwork. 압박스러운 상황일수록 특히 더 그렇다. Oh, I can't. I think I know why it's doing this, but yeah. So how would you say this part? Cases를 where로 받았다고요? That's right. Because we're talking about a situation. Because we're talking about a situation. Okay, so let's go with something simple. We're going to say especially. Especially when things get tough. Especially when things get tough. From your resume, it looks like you've worked in high-pressure environments before. How do you usually handle those situations? I would say that one of my strengths is being able to count on my team when things get overwhelming. You mean your team can count on you, right? Well, that too, but I think it's always better to work as a team. I've seen plenty of cases where teams fail because of lack of teamwork, especially when things get tough. So does it make sense now? Does it make sense where this person is coming from? Regarding what the person is saying about their strengths?
Well, that too, but I think it's always better to work as a team. I've seen plenty of cases where teams fail because of the lack of teamwork, especially when things get tough.
I've seen plenty of cases where teams fail because of the lack of teamwork, especially when things get tough.
Well, I would say that one of my strengths is being able to count on my team when things get overwhelming.
Uh, when you say this part, it's always better to stress being. It's always better to stress being. So I would say that one of my strengths is being able to count on. Being able to count on. Okay? Being able to count on.
I would say that one of my strengths is being able to count on my team when things get overwhelming.
Okay, sounds good. Um,
I would say that one of my strengths is to count on my team when things get overwhelming.
overwhelming. Being able to. Being able. Someone asked about the pronunciation. It's always best when you're trying to practice a difficult pronunciation. One of the most important things is to practice it in a sentence, not just a word alone, but in a sentence. Because depending on what kind of words it's surrounded by, it can sound different. Okay, so all I can do is just read this section to you over and over again. So I would say that one of my strengths is being able to. Strengths is. One of my strengths is. One of my strengths is being able to. Oh no no no. So
Well, that too, but I
you,
think it's always better to work as a team.
this is Yuyeon-님, and
I've seen plenty of cases where
this is Penggi-님. I think Penggi-님 is. I forget his YouTube handle. uh, anyway, that was Penggi-님, and
I would say that
this is YG-님. It's Yeongam-님. Okay. But I like the idea of using AI. Maybe I'll find a way to do that next time. So, hey, from your resume, it looks like you've worked in some high pressure environments before. How do you usually handle those situations? Well, I would say that one of my strengths is being able to count on my team when things get overwhelming. You mean your team can count on you, right? Well, that too, but I think it's always better to work as a team. I've seen plenty of cases where teams failed because of the lack of teamwork, especially when things get tough. Right. Okay, so that's where we are at now. Okay, and I think I'm gonna have to separate this a little bit. And so this is the interviewer. The interviewer says, "That's good to hear. Collaboration is definitely important around here." I agree. Mm. Okay, so something along these lines. We're gonna use this kind of context. Okay, we're gonna say something along these lines. So let's go one by one. How do we say this? Okay. So by themselves is fine. On their way, not on their way. Maybe you just wrote the wrong word. Okay, so doing something alone, on their own. Right. So we can use on their own, by themselves, or alone. Alone is a little bit different, but I would prefer to use either on their own or by themselves. So let's say, I know a lot of folks who prefer to do everything on their own. But, right? But, and now we're going to go to the next part. But, but what? It always turns out good when the best is always consequence? Are you trying to say consequence? Consequence is 대가. It's a little bit different. 결과 is result. I can get the best result when the results are always better. Okay, so here I think I wouldn't say this from the perspective of someone who is creating or receiving those results, but I'm going to use the result as the subject, okay? The result. I'm going to say best results. Best results come when you can others and trust your everyone in your team to do their part. I don't like how it's dividing everything here. So, all right. I agree. I know a lot of folks who prefer to do everything on their own, but the best results come when you can others and trust everyone in your team to do their part. So what can we put here? The best results come when what? When you can what? Share your work with others. Have faith in others. Ooh, okay. Cooperate with. I'm going to say depend on. I'm going to say depend on. I agree. I know a lot of folks who prefer to do everything on their own, but the best results come when you can depend on others and trust everyone in your team to do their part. Yeah, depend on. However, there is one more expression I want to add here. So, if you say it like this, it sounds like you are just reciting, you're just repeating a piece of fact. But what if you want to make it sound like this is what you have discovered from your own experience? This is what you have learned from your own experience. Right. I find. Okay? However, we're going to say I've found. I found that the best results come when you can depend on others and trust everyone in your team to do their part. We're going to say I found because it gives your speech, like it gives this sentence, this part, it gives it a very clear indication that it's coming from your experience rather than something that you read or something that you've been told. It's something that you've experienced, and so you know firsthand that this is true, okay? So I found that the best results come when you can depend on others and trust everyone in your team to do their part. It's just a response to this. It's just another way. It's basically saying the same thing, but in a slightly different way. Okay? We'll talk about that after we go through the entire dialogue, okay? Because there are other expressions that we have to go through. So, from your resume, it looks like you've worked in high-pressure environments before. How do you usually handle those situations? Well, I would say that one of my strengths is being able to count on my team when things get overwhelming. You mean your team can count on you, right? Well, that too, but I think it's always better to work as a team. I've seen plenty of cases where teams fail because of the lack of teamwork, especially when things get tough. That's good to hear. Collaboration is definitely important around here. I agree. I know a lot of folks who prefer to do everything on their own, but I found that the best results come when you can depend on others and trust everyone in your team to do their part.
I would say that one of my strengths is being able to count on my team when things get overwhelming. You mean your team can count on you, right? Well, that too. But I think it's always better to work as a team. I've seen plenty of cases when teams fail because of the lack of teamwork, especially when things get tough.
All right. Okay.
But I've found the best results come when you can depend on others and trust everyone in your team to do their part.
Mm-hmm. Do their part. Do their part. From your resume, it looks like you've worked in some high-pressure environments before. How do you usually handle those situations? Well, I would say that one of my strengths is being able to count on my team when things get overwhelming. You mean your team can count on you, right? Well, that too, but I think it's always better to work as a team. I've seen plenty of cases where teams fail because of the lack of teamwork, especially when things get tough. That's good to hear. Collaboration is definitely important around here. I agree. I know a lot of folks who prefer to do everything on their own, but I found that the best results come when you can depend on others and trust everyone in your team to do their part. Pull their weight. Okay, that's an expression. We can talk about that a little bit later, though. I prefer to work on my own, actually. Well, I think a lot of people will agree.
I agree. I know a lot of folks who prefers to do everything on their own, but I found that the best results come when you can depend on others and trust everyone in your team to do their part.
Sounds good.
I agree. I know a lot of folks who prefer to do everything on their own, but I found that the best results come when you can depend on others and trust everyone in your team to do their part.
All right. And 몽주시스 name uploaded a 40-second.
I would say that one of my strengths is being able to count on my team when things get too overwhelming. You mean your team can count on you, right? Well, that too. But I think it's always better to work as a team. I've seen plenty of cases where teams fail because of the lack of teamwork, especially when things get tough. That's good to hear. Collaboration is definitely important around here. I agree. I know a lot of folks who prefer to do everything on their own, but I've found that best results come when you can depend on others.
All right. I chose the one-person job because teamwork isn't my strong suit. I realized that my bad. Okay. Okay, so not very hard, right? I would say as a freelancer myself, one of my strengths is being able to enjoy being alone. Okay. That's your strength? Yeah. That's right. Okay, and then the interviewer asks, and how about situations where you don't? Whoops. Oh, sorry. Yes, you're right. The interviewer is A. You're right. It was B before, right? Yeah, okay. And how about situations where you don't have that support? How about situations where you don't have that support? Damn, this thing is heavy. I can barely hold it with one hand. I would look for other company. I would try to make the team to support each other. You mean encourage the team to support each other? On my own works better. On my own works better, actually, because I am also an ultimate solo player. God knows me. Encourage the team to support each other. When things get tough, teamwork requires even greater effort. I've generally put in that extra effort myself, and I understand it's not always easy for everyone. Yeah. And I think it's becoming increasingly more so. Like, I find that there are like they're like, and maybe this is why people like to talk about MBTI, but I think there's an increasing number of people who would rather do things on their own rather than being part of a team or an organization and working as a group. So there's a stronger tendency in that area, and so maybe that's why this is becoming more of a an important trait. Okay, so B says, as a team member or team leader. You mean what is this person applying for? I guess the answer could depend on that, but I haven't really thought it through in that way. Well, that's when my own skills and experience. And 문제 해결 능력. Well, that's when my own skills and experience, and I bring up come into play. Well, okay, so if we used this as the subject of the sentence, then yes, we can definitely say that's when my own skills and experience come into play. We could do that, but I want to add this expression here. That's when Bonginim says, turn to my own skills. Yes, we could do that. But we'll save that for later. Okay, we're going to say rely on. That's when I rely on my own skills and experience. Well, that's when I rely on my own skills and experience and problem-solving skills. Yes, right. So we're going to say problem-solving, let's say abilities. Well, that's when I rely on my own skills and experience and problem-solving abilities. But if something goes beyond my expertise, 나보다 경험이 더 많은 사람한테 두려워하지 않는다. So how would you say this? Oh, wait, sorry. 나보다. I wouldn't hesitate to. Okay. You could just say, I don't hesitate to. I don't hesitate to, or I'm not afraid to. I'm not afraid of. When you say I'm not afraid of something, you're talking about an inherent fear of something. Usually when you're talking about fear of doing something or taking some sort of action or right, taking initiative in doing something, then usually we say I'm not afraid to do something. Okay? So we're going to say I'm not afraid to someone. Sorry about that. Someone more experienced for. Now, we could say help, but I want to say guidance. Okay. I don't know why. I'm just going to say guidance. I'm not afraid to what? Ask for someone? If you say ask for someone, then you are asking to get someone, but you're not actually asking for someone. Here we're going to say turn to. Beg. We're going to say beg. Beg someone. Beg someone. That's funny. So turn to. Turn to. Turn to. I'm not afraid to turn to someone. So turning to someone is go looking for that person and actually seeking help. You're actually seeking help. You're actually going to them or calling them or asking them to come to you, and then actually actively seeking help. Right? Now, if you think about the words count on, depend on, rely on, these are not actually associated to an active action, a certain type of action. But turning to someone, it means you're actually going to them. You're actually going to them and seeking help. You're actually making the request, okay? But rely on, depending on, and these things are more, they're done in a more subtle way. Yes, basically. Well, kind of. I did try to include all of them, and I will do my best to explain the subtle differences, but I don't want you to worry too much about the difference. If you have time to worry about the very small, subtle differences between those expressions, I think it's more important, it's more meaningful to spend that time in actually memorizing the dialogue. I think that's more important. Okay, so let's see. So here we have, I'm not afraid to turn to someone, okay? Now, look at this. If something goes beyond my expertise, so we're referring to a very specific situation. When this happens, I'm not afraid to I'm not afraid to take this action, right? So turning to someone, you're actually taking an action, right? But when you look at the other expressions, like depend on, what does that look like, depending on someone? Can you actually picture that in your head? Can you picture someone doing something, depending on? No. But turning to someone, you can actually picture it. You turn to this guy. It's like, hey, I need help. See, this is what turning to means. You're actively seeking help. But depend on, you can't really picture a certain action. And so that's kind of how it's different, okay? And it's the same with, so depend on, and what did we have here? Count on, right? Depend on, count on, and relying on. All these are all these. Their meanings are slightly different, but they each emphasizes a different thing, but they're basically kind of the same. Okay. So let's try that again. Why does this look like this? From your resume, it looks like you've worked in high-pressure environments before. How do you usually handle those situations? I would say that one of my strengths is being able to count on my team when things get overwhelming. You mean your team can count on you, right? Well, that too, but I think it's always better to work as a team. I've seen plenty of cases where teams fail because of the lack of teamwork, especially when things get tough. That's good to hear. Collaboration is definitely important around here. I agree. I know a lot of folks who prefer to do everything on their own, but I found that the best results come when you can depend on others and trust everyone in your team to do their part. And how about situations where you don't have that support? Well, that's when I rely on my own skills and experience and problem-solving abilities. But if something goes beyond my expertise, I'm not afraid to turn to someone more experienced for guidance. As a team, because when you're reading this, I want you to stress it. When you're reading it, where is it? I want you to stress it. But I think it's always better to work as a team. As a team. I've seen plenty of cases where teams fail because of the lack of teamwork, especially when things get tough. That's good to hear. Collaboration is definitely important around here. I agree. I know a lot of folks who prefer to do everything on their own, but I found that the best results come when you can depend on others and trust everyone in your team to do their part. I guess trust is another word. And how about situations where you don't have that support? Well, that's when I rely on my own skills and experience and problem-solving abilities. But if something goes beyond my expertise, I'm not afraid to turn to someone more experienced for guidance. Okay. 필요할 때 도움을 요청하는 걸 주저하지 않는군요. You don't hesitate. 앞에 지금 이 얘기를 들었잖아요. 이 얘기를 듣고 종합적으로 이렇게 정리하는 그런 느낌이잖아요. So, I would say it sounds like. It sounds like. Not you sound like. It sounds like. It sounds like. Not you. Everyone is saying you sound like. No, it sounds like. It sounds, not you sound like. So it sounds like you don't hesitate to ask for help when necessary. That's a valuable skill. Now, 자신의 최대 약점은 뭐라고 생각하세요? What would you say is your biggest weakness? Now, what would you say is your biggest weakness?
Well, that's when I rely on my own skills and experience and problem-solving abilities.
Wait, my own skills and experience. So when you're reading this, I want you to stress this part. Okay? I want you to stress this part. Well, that's when I rely on my own skills. That's when I rely on my own skills and experience and problem-solving abilities.
Well, that's when I rely on my own skills and experience and problem-solving abilities. But
Because
if
that's kind of important here because you need to create a contrast between that and what you talked about before, because previously you talked about depending on your team and counting on your team members to do their part. But so what you're saying now is kind of in contrast to that. And so that's why when you consider the flow, it's important to stress this part. That's when I rely on my own skills. Okay?
something goes beyond my expertise, I'm not afraid to turn to someone more experienced for guidance.
Guidance.
Well, that's when I rely on my own skills and experience and problem solving abilities.
Sounds
But
good.
if something goes beyond my expertise, I'm not afraid to turn to someone more experienced for guidance.
Okay.
And how about situations where you don't have that support?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's when I rely on my own skills and experience and problem solving abilities.
Sounds
But
good.
if something goes beyond my expertise, I'm not afraid to turn to someone more experienced for guidance.
Okay. Sounds good.
But if something goes beyond my expertise, I'm not afraid to turn to someone more experienced for guidance.
Mm-hmm.
And how about situations where you don't have the support?
Right. She sounds like she's the kind of person who would actually ask this.
And how about situations where you don't have the support?
Hey, Kimni.
I
It's been a while.
agree. I know a lot of folks who prefer to do everything on their own, but I found the best results come when you can depend on others and trust everyone in your team do their part.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That was Kimnim. Okay.
Well, that's when I rely on my own skills and experience and problem-solving abilities. But if something goes beyond my expertise, I'm not afraid to turn to someone more experienced for guidance.
It sounds like you don't hesitate to ask for help when necessary. That's a valuable skill. Now, what would you say is your biggest weakness? What would you say is your biggest weakness? 그 질문에, so when they're asking a question, they often insert phrases like this. What would you say? Instead of saying what do you think? This is a very common alternative for do you think. So what would you say? In Korean, I think we have a similar expression. 자신의 가장 큰 약점은 뭐라고 하시겠어요? It's kind of like saying that. So it's basically the same as asking, what do you think is your biggest weakness? But it's just another way of saying, do you think? Okay, what would you say? 솔직히 어쩔 때는 하기도 하는 것 같아요. Okay, right. Easy, right? Easy? Okay, so let's keep it simple. Let's just keep it simple. Honestly, if I'm being honest, is fine, but honestly is fine too. So honestly, I think I sometimes others a bit too much when I feel uncertain. Okay, let me ask you something here. Okay, let me ask you something here. Now, consider the context. Okay, consider the context. I think I sometimes others a bit too much. 너무 많이 다른 사람들의 의지하다라는 말이 여기선 맞을까요? 아니면은 다른 사람이 그 역할을 잘 해줄 거라고 믿는 거. 어느 쪽이죠, 여기서는? Consider the context. Which is it? Are we talking about... Because if I spoke this in English, I would actually give you the answer. So here, is it 의지하다 or 다른 사람들이 잘할 거라고 믿는 거? Oh, really? But when I feel uncertain, when I feel uncertain, 이런 상황이잖아요. When I feel uncertain. Okay, so I guess it kind of depends on how you think about this, but the way I imagined it is 의지하다. Okay? 의지하다. When I feel uncertain, right? And so here, this is when you have to distinguish. This is when you distinguish depending on, rely on, and count on. Okay? 일단 이 맥락에서는 우리가 count on과 depend, rely on을 좀 구분을 해야 돼요. So counting on others, when you count on others, you are trusting their skill, their judgment, and you are trusting their that they will come through with their part. Okay? And that's different from relying on someone. Relying on someone and depending on someone is more about your survival. Okay? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Okay? Relying on something or someone, depending on someone or something is more about self-survival, and counting on someone is believing that they will do their part and believing that they will do a good job. That's what count on means. Okay? So there we can draw a line. Okay, but I don't want you to think about this too much. Okay, but so here we're going to say rely on. Honestly, I think I sometimes rely on others a bit too much when I feel uncertain. My mouse just stopped working. My mouse just... Oh, it's working again. What the hell? I hate Windows. This is a pretty good translation. I like this translation. Good. Very, very good. I like this translation. I rely on my mouse. Now, what would you say is your biggest weakness? Honestly, I think I sometimes rely on others a bit too much when I feel uncertain. Sometimes you just gotta use your best judgment and run with it. I didn't order anything. Did somebody order something for me? Did you guys send me something? Oh wait, you don't know my address. Oh, I bought a new adapter for that old ancient laptop. That would be awesome. That would be awesome if we had some 탕수육 right now. Oh, and when you're talking about your weakness, and you know what you should be working towards, right? If you know how you should change, there's something very important you need to say. 고치려고 노력 중이다. And there is a very, very simple and very common way to say this in English. Yes, exactly. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. 그냥 내 단점 받아들이면 안 돼? 요? 그래도 되죠, sure. Of course. I mean, you might not get the job, but sure, you can do that. Sure. I mean, you can do anything you want. You can do anything you want. Of course. And who knows? Maybe that sort of self-acceptance will impress the interviewer, and maybe you'll get the job nonetheless. You know, who knows? It really depends on what kind of person you are, what kind of person the interviewer is. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so whenever you're talking about your weakness, it's okay, you know, just say what it is. Of course, it would be great if you make it sound like a weakness on the surface. But when you actually really look into it, it's not really a weakness, you know? It's not anything critical, you know what I mean? 제 단점은 단점이 없는 것이 단점입니다. My weakness is that I don't have a weakness. Or you're not capable of noticing what your weakness is. Oh my gosh. I'm sure you might give the interviewer a few laughs. And who knows, maybe, because, you know, this is a really cliche kind of question that you might not even get. I'm just telling you guys that, I mean, I don't know. Do they ask something like this in a real interview? I don't really know. I haven't been to an interview in such a long time. I don't even know if this is something they ask anymore. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to phrase this a little differently. Okay, I'm going to phrase this a little differently. So instead of saying I'm working on it, which is fine, you know, you can just say I'm working on it, that's fine. Another way you could say this is, here, I'll write it below the one we have here. It's something that I'm working on. It's something that I'm working on. It's something that I'm working on. 어떻게 함으로써. And this is how you turn your weakness into a strength. Yes. So here you phrase it like this, and as you were talking about your weakness, suddenly you're talking about your strength. Okay? 내 능력에 대한 자신감을 키움으로써. 키움으로써 노력 중이다. 이렇게 함으로써 노력 중이다. Okay, so again, there's there are a number of ways you can say this, but we can say, I'm working on it. It's something that I'm working on. It's something. Let's delete this. So it's something that I'm working on by building my confidence. Is that what I said? By building more confidence. By building more confidence in my own abilities. Before immediately others for help. It's something that I'm working on by building more confidence in my own abilities before immediately 그쵸? turning to others for help. Turning to. Honestly, I think I sometimes rely on others a bit too much. When I feel uncertain, sometimes you just got to use your best judgment and run with it. It's something that I'm working on by building more confidence in my own abilities before immediately turning to others for help. 김인선님 sent me a recording, a 14-second recording. Let's open this file. I hope it's not a virus.
Well, this one I rely on my own skills and experience and problem-solving abilities. But if something goes beyond my expertise, I'm not afraid to turn to someone more experienced for guidance.
Okay, sounds great.
Well, that's when I rely on my own skills and experience and problem-solving abilities. But if something goes beyond my expertise, I'm not afraid to turn to someone more experienced for guidance. It sounds like you don't hesitate to ask for help when necessary. That's a valuable skill. So now, what would you say is your biggest weakness?
Okay.
If I'm being honestly, I think I sometimes rely on others a bit too much when I feel uncertain.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think I sometimes rely on others a bit too much when I feel uncertain.
Now, what would you say is your biggest weakness? Honestly, I think I sometimes rely on others a bit too much when I feel uncertain.
Honestly, I think I sometimes rely on others a bit too much when I feel uncertain.
Oops, sorry about that.
Sometimes you just gonna use your best judgment and run with it.
Mm-hmm. And run with it. Run with it means just to, not hesitate and just go with it. Just go with, instead of seeking confirmation or seeking advice or feedback, just, you just use your best judgment and just run with it. Yeah.
It's something that I'm working on by building more confidence in my own abilities before immediately turning to others for help.
Yeah, it's something that I'm working on by building more confidence in my own abilities before immediately turning to others for help.
Honestly, I think I sometimes rely on others a bit too much when I feel uncertain. Sometimes you just gotta use your best judgment and run with it. It's something that I'm working on by building more confidence in my own abilities before immediately turning to others for help.
Yeah, so run with it means not hesitate and just go through with it. Yeah, right. uncertain. 두 번 해도 돼요? 한 번만요? I really wish I could say it again. Hey, I don't know. Maybe the person just wants me to say it just once. Uncertain. 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 Uncertain is the kind of word that you use your throat more than your lips, actually, and your tongue. 그 실제로 입술이랑 혀보다 약간 목을 더 쓰는 발음인 것 같긴 하네요. 막상 해보니까. So uncertain. Uncertain. 한 번. Okay. I'm overdoing it. Okay. 0.5배 한 번, 0.7배 한 번. Honestly, I think I think I sometimes rely on others a bit too much when I feel uncertain. Sometimes you just got to use your best judgment and run with it. It's something that I'm working on by building more confidence in my own abilities before immediately turning to others for help. Okay, I think that's it. That is it. I don't think there's really no point in extending this dialogue any further. I think we have enough context here, enough examples, enough use cases of these. 성격이 급한 게 단점이야. 이건 뭐라고 할 수 있나요? You say I'm not patient. I sometimes lack patience. I sometimes lack patience. Yeah. I know, I understand that as Korean people, and I feel this too, I feel that too. I feel a very strong urge to express it like 성격이 급하다. I want to say it like that. But you have to realize that they just don't say it like that. You say they're just impatient. Yeah, you're impatient. You're not patient. Yeah. Or you can say, I get impatient. You know, I sometimes get impatient. My personality is fast. I think that is a good way to start a conversation. Because when you say that I have such a fast personality, and the person will say, well, what do you mean by that? You have a fast personality. What do you mean by that? And then you can start talking about what that means. You know, I think it could be an interesting conversation for sure. I'm not even kidding about that. But you know, just to be clear about how they say that, they don't really say that right. So, not patient. So saying that you're not patient, saying that you're impatient, it pretty much covers all ground of 성격이 급하다. Okay? So, yeah, you lack patience. You can say you lose your patience. I sometimes lose my patience. That's another way to say that. I sometimes lose my patience, right? I'm kind of I'm kind of 빨리빨리 person. You know what 빨리빨리 person is? And you know, actually a lot of foreigners, and I was kind of surprised by this, but a lot of foreigners actually know that phrase. 빨리빨리 culture. They actually know that. And so I think it could be an interesting thing, like, because you're obviously a foreigner. If let's say that you're actually in this situation, right? You're obviously a foreigner, and it could be an interesting thing. Like you can talk about with the interviewer. You can say, well, my weakness. Have you heard of the 빨리빨리 culture in Korea? And they'll say, oh, no, I haven't heard of that. What is that? It could be an interesting thing, right? I drink beer now. It feels so full. It referring to your stomach? Korean international. Oh. Oh my God, you're right. Man, what are the odds? What are the odds? I never made that connection. Well, you're freaking genius. I know, right? That's so creepy. Wow. It is all connected, man. It's all designed. I know. What are the odds? What are the odds of our international number actually matching with that certain expression? My gosh. 설마 그래서. Oh man. I swear I never made that connection. Like, right? Like, I don't think any of you guys made that connection here. 미국은 일장이라 plus. I don't even know what 일장 means. From your resume, it looks like you've worked in some high-pressure environments before. How do you usually handle those situations? Well, I would say that one of my strengths is being able to count on my team when things get overwhelming. So again, counting on, meaning that you believe and you trust that someone will do their part. Someone will do a good job. One of my strengths is being able to count on my team when things get overwhelming. You mean your team can count on you, right? Well, that too, but I think it's always better to work as a team. I've seen plenty of cases where teams fail because of the lack of teamwork, especially when things get tough. That's good to hear. Collaboration is definitely important around here. I agree. I know a lot of folks who prefer to do everything on their own, but I found that the best results come when you can depend on others and trust everyone in your team to do their part. And how about situations where you don't have that support? Well, that's when I rely on my own skills and experience and problem-solving abilities. But if something goes beyond my expertise, I'm not afraid to turn to someone more experienced for guidance. Sounds like you don't hesitate to ask for help when necessary. That's a valuable skill. Now, what would you say is your biggest weakness? Honestly, I think I sometimes rely on others a bit too much when I feel uncertain. Sometimes you just got to use your best judgment and run with it. It's something that I'm working on by building more confidence in my own abilities before immediately turning to others for help. Okay. A bit too much를 영어도 같이 쓰는군요. I'm not sure what you mean by this. Are you saying that we use it in Korean? 뭐지나 생각했는데 한국어 좀 많이? Oh, no. Actually, 나나님, I know what you mean, but actually, it's not. It actually makes sense. 그게 a bit too much라는 게 그 지나친 정도가 약간이라는 거예요. 약간이면서 많이라는 게 아니라 그 지나친 정도가 약간이라는 거예요. Yeah, so it's actually not that it's not that weird because that's what it means, a bit too much. Yeah, 그러니까 이런 거예요. 그 a little more than a year 이런 거랑 비슷한 거예요. A little more than a year. 자, more than a year면 more than이지 왜 a little야? It's because it's a little bit more than a year, right? So 좀 많이 이거 그쵸? 이거는 좀 it's kind of weird, right? 그쵸? A little too pink, right? It's a little too pink. Don't you think it's a little too pink? That means the exceeding amount. The exceeding amount is a little. It doesn't mean it's a little pink and it's a lot pink at the same time. No, it just means the exceeding amount is a little. Yeah, a lot too much? I've never heard of that. A little bit too much. You'd almost say, no, that's fine. That's actually a very common way they phrase it, yeah. A little bit too much, yeah. Like a bit too spicy, a bit too. You could just say, it's just a bit too spicy. It's a bit too hot. It's a bit too, a bit too 빨리빨리. All right, one more time. So from your resume, it looks like you've worked in some high pressure environments before. How do you usually handle those situations? Well, I would say that one of my strengths is being able to count on my team when things get overwhelming. You mean your team can count on you, right? Well, that too, but I think it's always better to work as a team. I've seen plenty of cases where teams fail because of the lack of teamwork, especially when things get tough. That's good to hear. Collaboration is definitely important around here. I agree. I know a lot of folks who prefer to do everything on their own, but I found that the best results come when you can depend on others and trust everyone in your team to do their part. And how about situations where you don't have that support? Well, that's when I rely on my own skills and experience and problem-solving abilities. But if something goes beyond my expertise, I'm not afraid to turn to someone more experienced for guidance. It sounds like you don't hesitate to ask for help when necessary. That's a valuable skill. Now, what would you say is your biggest weakness? Honestly, I think I sometimes rely on others a bit too much when I feel uncertain. Sometimes you just got to use your best judgment and run with it. It's something that I'm working on by building more confidence in my own abilities before immediately turning to others for help. 이 정도 문장들을 구사할 수 있을 정도면 advanced인 거죠. If you can say this without much preparation, on the spot, and you're actually connected with what you're saying, that means it's really coming from you. It's not something that someone wrote for you. What I'm saying is, if you can comfortably speak like this, then yeah, I would say you're pretty much an advanced learner. If you consider yourself a learner. I mean, maybe you're not even a learner at that point, but then again, we're all learning, right? Even we're learning our own language. But yeah, I guess you could say you're an advanced learner. But, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter that much whether you're an intermediate learner or an advanced learner, right? It's at this point, it doesn't really matter that much, I think. Why you always do live streaming in regular fixed time? That's a good question. Maybe I should do it more randomly. Maybe I should just do it so randomly. What do you guys think? 맞아. 새벽 6시. 새벽 5시 어떠냐고요? I can. Can you? I don't think you guys can handle it. I don't think you guys would be able to. 새벽 재밌을 것 같다고요? Well, very little, obviously. Stop 가능. A bit too early. Yeah, that's a bit too early, right? That's great. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. No, actually, when we stream like early in the morning, we do get a lot of viewers from overseas. And like we see, it's happened a lot. We get a lot of viewers. Like we see a lot of YouTube IDs that we don't normally see. And we see so many people say, "Oh, I'm hello from Australia, hello from here, hello from there." Not Australia, because they're only there's only like an hour or 2 hour difference, right? So. 너무 딱딱하게 하지 말아달라고 부탁했는데 계속 컴퓨터처럼 말하더라고요. 어제 챗GPT로 이야기하는 거 해봤는데 너무 딱딱하게 이야기하는 것 같아요. 혹시 사람처럼 부드럽게 하는 방법이 있을까요? 딱딱하게 하지 말아달라고 부탁했는데도 계속 그런다고요? I think you need to give it more specific instructions. Like you can maybe you can tell ChatGPT, I want you to talk very casually to me as if we were just, a couple of stupid kids in high school or something like that. I think if you give it some sort of reference, right? Instead of, because saying, I don't want you to be too formal. It's a very vague instruction. It's not very clear. So maybe you can give it a more clearer instruction by giving it some sort of reference, Like talk to me like we're some dumb teenagers just, hanging out, on the street or something like that. I'm sure it will tone things down a little bit simply by asking it to be more casual, but I think it would be better if you could actually give it some sort of reference. I think that's because of the way I edited it. And actually in those videos, I gave ChatGPT a very specific set of instructions, and I had to do that a number of times because I wanted it to even be more casual. Yeah. I actually gave ChatGPT this kind of instruction. I told it, don't even ask me what I think. Don't even ask me if I want more help or something. I actually told him not to ask me that because it kept asking, do you need anything else? Do you want to know it? No, I don't want to know. Just don't even tell me that. And you have to give it very specific instructions. No, that is true. That is definitely true. Yeah, this is a bit off topic, right? 한글로 뭐 물어보면 갑자기 말하고 그러던데. And how did it feel? I wonder if there's anybody who actually felt insulted by that and actually asked, hey, why are you speaking to me with that comfortable tone? Where is your manners? Where are your manners? Come on, it's just a machine. It's cute, right? It's kind of cute. 쓰니까 최지배한테 기본적으로 세팅 항상 예문 3개씩 만들어달라고 하는데 하루는 제가 파 썰어서 어떻게 보관하는 게 좋냐 물어봤는데 파에 대해서도 예문 3개 만들어줬어. 와우. That's funny. Yeah, that's right. 챗GPT 첫날 접하고 바로 반말 연습 학습 정말 오지게 시켰는데 그 여파인가? Yeah, it's cute, right? Okay, all right. I think that's it. I'm gonna copy and paste this into the description section below. Give me 1 second. This goes here. See, things are so much easier with 3 monitors. You have to have at least 3 monitors. Like, let's be real. If you want to get anything done, if you want to get any meaningful work done, you need 3 monitors. Like, how can you do anything with only 2 monitors? It's like, it's so crippling to have only 2 monitors. One monitor? One monitor, it's like, you know, you might as well use your phone. One monitor? No. Oh, no. I'm streaming from my home right now. In my office, at my streaming station, streaming desk, I only have 2 monitors. Okay. Yeah, I'm at home. No, I didn't buy a new monitor. I probably will at some point. Probably not right away, but... yeah, you two have a cozy rest of your night. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Oh, the computer in the back? Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh? One monitor is enough? Come on. Once you go to 2 monitors, you can never go back. Once you go to 3 monitors, you can never go back, I think. Like, I didn't realize how crippling it was to have 2 monitors until I actually started using a 3 monitor setup. And it didn't feel so crippling before. But now that I have used a 3 monitor setup, when I go back to my office and use a 2 monitor setup, it's just so crippling. I don't feel like I can do anything. I feel like I'm blind. It looks like a laboratory at NASA. Well, I've never been to NASA, but I guess it would look something like this, right? Okay. All right, thanks guys for tuning in today. I had a lot of fun with this one. Hey, how many... This is my 3rd stream this week, right? I think it is. Anyway. NASA Voxa. Yeah, we're at Voxa, guys. Delightful weekend always. Thank you so much. Yeah, you too. Have a good one. Become my healing process. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, me too, kind of. You know, it's like, you know, spending time with friends in the evening. Thank you. It's my pleasure. My pleasure. All right. Okay. Second set for the one, just to say hi. A second set for the one. I'm not really sure what that means. Okay. Okay. All right. Oh. Right. Oh, that's right. Because on Monday, no. On Tuesday, we didn't really have like a meaningful stream, right? We didn't really do anything. We just chatted for a bit. You're right. Yes. Okay. I see. I gotcha. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Have a great rest of your evening, and I hope I can see you again very soon. Have a great rest of your evening, guys.